Servus Männer, it's Red Pill Germany again. The other day I shared an observation of mine with you, and that was that recently I've been hearing a lot more ambulance sirens, and I've already witnessed ambulances coming to houses nearby and medics going into these houses. My little talk in the forest back then was not very objective and it was just anecdotal, but now, more than 2 weeks later, we finally have the first report from a local German newspaper about that very effect. It is from a local Berlin newspaper and it is about an SPD politician inquiring with the Senate of Berlin if there was an increase of heart-related emergencies lately, or let's say in the year 2021. The answer of the Senate was, or they reluctantly had to answer, they didn't want to, but they said that there was a 31% increase in cases like these, so heart-related emergencies like strokes, for example, compared to the average of the years 2018 and 19. In 2020 there was a slight increase of I think 12% or something, but 2021 31% increase in these emergencies. So I promised you to follow up on that when more things or new data or something comes to light. And now we have from Berlin, it is local, but it is a state, it is a big city, it's the biggest city in Germany. And they clearly stated, according to our databases, according to our numbers, there was a 31% increase in Berlin 2021. So this is now no longer anecdotal, these are real hard facts now. So my observations seem to have been accurate. Some people quite understandably commented under that video that maybe I just pay attention more to the thing, and it is like when you hear a word for the first time, all of a sudden you hear it everywhere, this kind of thing, that when you put your focus on something, you see it everywhere. Sure, that cognitive effect exists, but this time it was real, and I was very sure of that because I asked around, and all the other people that I asked, or most of them, my friends, family, co-workers, they made the same kinds of observations, and many people in the comments below they also commented the same thing, that they observed that. In some areas they didn't, but many of you said that they observed the same thing. So what about that story from Berlin? How does it go on? So first, it is notable that an SPD, a social democrat politician, was asking that in the first place. Very interesting, because his party is very much pro-pharmaceutical product here. And once again, we don't know for sure what the reason is, and I speculated about this in the last video. I don't want to do it again, but I think you all know what the potential reasons could be. And that is also what a certain association of Berlin firefighters were saying. Because you might wonder now, hey, wait a minute, what do firefighters have to do with that? Well, in Germany, it's not only medics that respond to these kinds of emergencies, but there are also firefighters that respond to heart-related emergency calls. Until 2019, they even had a special stroke unit in Berlin of the Berlin firefighters. They had specialized equipments to monitor people's health and to look for potential long-lasting effects and to make sure that people are all right. But in 2019, Berlin discontinued the funding for that stroke unit. Isn't that a coincidence? As if they knew and they wanted to make sure that the population would be hit in the hardest possible way without any help. If you know anything about Berlin, you can probably imagine what the Senate of Berlin or what the government of Berlin, what they put that funding in instead. So Berlin does not only use the tax money and also the transferred wealth from Bavaria, for example, in order to support globalist, multi-billion, multinational pharmaceutical corporations. No, they also support the gig economy, under the table kind of pharmaceutical salespeople in Berlin parks, if you know what I mean. So anyway, this Association of Berlin Firemen, they went a step further and they demanded that the Paul-Ehrlich Institute and the Robert Koch Institute, so those are government agencies in the health sector, and so the firefighters, they demanded that these government agencies investigate scientifically the reason, the root cause for this whopping over 30% increase in heart-related emergencies. They should find out if this result from Berlin can be generalized to Germany or even beyond Germany. I think that would be better, but they said can be generalized for the whole of Germany, and also what the reason is. And now they even go one step further. They also demand a reassessment of the pharmaceutical product mandate for members of the Berlin firefighters and also of other health-related workers or health sector workers. Because bear in mind, we don't have a general pharmaceutical product administering mandate, but for people who work in the health sector, like nurses, doctors, and even firefighters now, medics and such professions, there is a mandate. If you don't take the substance, you're gonna lose your job. And in light of this increase of heart-related emergencies and the possibility that it could have something to do with this pharmaceutical product, let's say, they want that to be investigated and they want a reassessment of these mandates. Very plausible, very fair, very understandable. But what did the Senate of Berlin do? They tried to downplay these results. They said that heart-related emergency is not a clear category, and this is just what people call for. In the end, it could turn out that it is something else, so it's really convoluted and complicated, man, and we don't really know. Yeah, I would be kind of satisfied with that answer if it had been a 5% increase, but a 31% increase, that is clear, that is significant, and you need a proper explanation for that. And just saying that it's complicated, or what were the things that they were saying? They said that the population increased and that there is a demographic factor to be considered here, and also that the quality management in the health sector improved. Yeah, it improved in Berlin, right? Yes. So that is all a steaming pile of BS. Quality doesn't improve. The categories or categorizations for these emergency calls didn't change. And also, I doubt that Berlin all of a sudden during 1 year witnessed a 31% increase in population, not to my knowledge at least. Alright, so what do I think will happen next? Well, I think that nothing will happen, because other than a local Berlin newspaper and 2 larger bloggers, nobody talks about this stuff. It's not national news, no other news outlet has picked up on it, and yeah, well, this little association of Berlin firefighters, I don't think that they have the political influence, the platform, or the reach to actually do something or to cause a greater investigation. I think the Paul-Ehrlich Institute and the Robert Koch Institute, they will just ignore that. They will just go on as if nothing happened, and as long as nobody else talks about it, nothing will happen. There won't be an investigation, and there won't be any changes, and there will not be, there will not be a reassessment of any mandates that we have for health sector workers now. I think there are still 100,000 people that are still pure-blooded in the health sector or something like that, I read. That is massive. And let's see if they're all gonna fire those people or if they just ignore what they said last year. Anyway, a big shout out to all my supporters and my subscribers. Thank you all so very much. Check me out on other social media platforms also, as diversity is clearly our strength. And if you want to, you can support my work, my channel here via Patreon or Subscribestar. The links are in the descriptions down below. And also, please, like every time, and especially now with this topic, please comment down below if some real data or some actual investigation on the frequency or number of these emergency calls or these heart related issues is known in the area where you live. In Germany, I found only now this heart data from Berlin, but maybe you live in a different country, maybe you know more, maybe in your local media something like that came up. Let me know and let all the other listeners know in the comments down below. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Servus, Kameraden.